what's up, y'all, and thank you for tuning into Respectfully with Miss Pretty Young Thing. I'm your girl, PYT, and let's get into it. So, y'all, we already know that Season 3, Episode 4, of BMF has come out. So, you already know that we have to do a recap. So, I know my Season 3, Episode 3 recap came a little late. I apologize. It's been a busy week. I have a lot of good news in my personal life that I've been tending to, a lot of money moves being made. But in the meantime, before I go on to POF Live, go ahead and add me, Miss Pretty Young Thing, on POF or BLK. I wanted to beat my face with y'all really quick while we discussed the latest episode. So in the meantime, before we get started, you already know the drill. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you're a fan of BMF, if you're a fan of baddies, if you're a fan of my vlogs, if you want to get to know PYT, hit that subscribe button, like this video, leave me a comment, let me know if there's any other shows that you want me to discuss, and let's go ahead and get into it. So honestly, I appreciate all of the support that I've been getting for my videos, and while we are getting in tune with this video, make sure that you share it with a friend. Let everybody know that PYT has arrived, okay? So today we are going to be talking about BMF Season 3, Episode 4, like I said, and this is the official recap. I'm going to try to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, let me know while I do my makeup, all right? And like I told y'all before, and honestly, like we saw in the episode, Nicole turned up. She was the real MVP, letting everybody know about themselves in this episode. It was crazy. So, honestly, she was real calm in her performance. Like, you could tell she was waiting for this to happen. She pulled a Tejada, just like the little girl on Power, and made food and just threw it in their face. And Nicole is not a little girl anymore. She demanded RESPE, respect me.
RESPE, respect me.
Okay? So, and I told y'all 2 Chainz. I told y'all 2 Chainz was up to no good. Y'all know who y'all are that didn't believe me. Okay? Y'all really thought that Neo was the only one that was going to be up to no good. So it seems like he's trying to set up Meech and Terry, and we know it's not going to go as planned because, respectfully, I feel like Stack's days are numbered, and I feel like there's still more series to go when it comes to this. But if you have your opinion, let me know. So the episode, the return of the prodigal son, okay? And you already know that it starts off with a quote, as it always does. And the quote said, "No matter how much we made or how much we elevated, it was always better to have bro on my side." And that was a quote by Terry Flannery, aka Southwest T baby. Okay? And honestly, T has been getting on my nerves all season. And it was issues. We knew it was going to be some small little things getting in between them. But at the end of the day, they got the job done, and that's all that matters, and they do what they have to do. So Meech is having a conversation with Loco at the beginning of the episode, hiring Cena's pilot, but he doesn't trust him. They don't know if he's a Fed. So he gets Meech to talk to him because the guy speaks English, right? So they end up agreeing on a deal, and Meech is going to go pick up the product, and the guy will get paid later. And Meech reminds him that, look, if it was a Fed would not want the money later. He would want it up front, so they don't have nothing to lose, everything to gain, all right? So we want Terry to pick up the product. Terry is in Detroit, but Logo does not want Terry to do it. He wants Meech to do it. Meech is his guy, and that's what's going to happen. That's how it's going to go down, right? So, honestly, Meech is growing a relationship with him, and them Hispanic men, they love them. They love them some Meech, okay? And he is doing his dang thing. And I think it's kind of cool that he learned Spanish on the realm of, growing in the business. And I think it's really dope that he, decided to do so, especially considering that their connects are Hispanic. So it only makes sense to do so. Honestly, that was all tea, all shade to all of my people that work with Hispanics all day, every day, and do not decide to learn a lick of Spanish. You see how Spanish can come in handy, okay? Y'all saw with y'all own two eyes. They were speaking in Spanish and he was answering in English. Okay? So we get to Meech. He goes back home and he sees Angel looking like she about to get the hell up out of there. Meech is like, look, you can stay here. We gonna have guys watching the house. I gotta go to Detroit, handle some business. And of course, the two end up clapping. Meech clapped it. He made it clap, okay? So he's saying that we're not about to be, working and giving your money away. You're gonna work and keep your money, okay? Value yourself. Know your worth. Ain't gonna be no Rodney Granny Green in the business anymore. But I have a funny feeling that things are not going to be as sweet as they are looking. Rodney is still gonna want to look for revenge. Neo is not dead. Rodney is still gonna give problems for Meech and especially Angel when it's all said and done. So Meech returns home. It caught everybody by surprise. And Terry did not know that he was gonna show up. And Terry looks a little pissed off. Like, why are you here in the first place? Meech does tell Perry that he believes Markeisha is the one that set up the whole CPS thing. And Terry tells him, look, no, that's not the case because she's actually trying to help me out, especially with the judge, to see if he can help get CPS off his back. Meech tells Terry they got to move 250 keys, go to the airport, and he's going to need his help as far as distro, moving the weight, all right? So he tells him he made a bad first impression with Locos, so he got a deal straight up, and it's going to make it harder, but things are going to go his way because we know he's a little... Terry thinking it's going to be risky with him moving the weight via car, law enforcement on your back, all open roads, Detective Bryant on this case, which is exactly what's going to end up happening. But Meech is like, screw it. He's willing to take the risk, no license and all, and he has, Locos in the palm of his hand, so he's going to move this weight no matter what. So we go over to Detective Veronica Jen and Detective Bryant because Bryant goes to see her to check up on her to make sure that she's good. And she tells him she wants to know what the hell he was happening with BMF and the PA boys following him. So I would like to pause it right there because I feel like Detective Bryant is full of SHIT because you know dang well you don't care about that lady like that. You know dang well you got more important things to do. You got bigger fish to fry. You just wanted to see, he wanted to check her temperature. He essentially wanted to check her temperature just to see whether or not she was about to snitch on him and get him even more cased up than he was already cased up when it comes to the circumstance with finding him there in the first place. Now, she's in her sling. She's suffering, circumstances. But remember, they had their own run-ins at the beginning of the season anyway. No, last season. Sorry. But she's trying to see if he's going to snitch. She's going to snitch. Brian's like, well, if you write your confession, make sure that you let them know how you helped me move 2 bricks to replace them with synthetic. She tells him she already switched it out, all right, for some legit stuff, right? She's the one that took Saint's product at that crime scene in 2 episodes ago, so she ain't got nothing to worry about. He tells her, all you got to worry about is this. Everything that I'm doing is to protect my son. So basically letting her know he's going to do whatever it takes, and if she continues to give him a problem, just know Detective Bryant most likely is going to get her up out of here. You know what that means. So now Detective, man, is going to be crazy. So we get over to Meech, meeting up with Zoe and TT. And honestly, it was just like, for me, I was wondering where Lamar was at. But I feel like he was just like, I got you. I'm going to take care of you. She wants to be a lawyer and wants to be similar to how her mom was, Monique's character. And he says Monique will be proud of the character that she's going to be becoming. As far as college and everything like that, he's going to take care of her. She ain't got nothing to worry about. Big shout out to Meech. All right. So we get over to Terry and we get to Markeisha. And they're trying to set up this thing with the judge so that they can see if he can help her out when it comes to the CPS circumstance, right? So while they're having this conversation, Henrietta pops up telling the judge, don't do it. He's not the person. You're not trying to lay in bed with that person, which makes the judge antsy and leaves. And she ends up tells Markeisha she's trying to crack her back like a glow stick. Disrespectful. Pisses her off. Terry's upset. There's going to be problems with Henrietta. All right. So now we get over to Raw Dog Charles, baby. This man and lifting weights. He doing his best to win his woman back, okay? Got to get back to them high school days because remember, that's where he picked her up. He got competition, okay? The doctor is in town. So he's trying to impress her, getting back all buff and stuff. Got him dinner downstairs already made, over here patching up the walls as far as the drywall goes. And she looks very shocked as far as like, dang, Rodolph Charles putting in that work. He putting it on her, okay? So he ain't slick, but it didn't work at that point in time. But he's going to do whatever it takes to get her back. He's, painting walls, making dinner. He putting his foot in there, all right? So now we get over to Henrietta and Detective Bryant having a conversation about BMF. And we know that Meech is back in town, which Henrietta informs him, most likely to expand the business. And we know Detective Bryant is like, well, maybe this is a good opportunity for us to be able to make our move, all right? Catch them slipping, all right? She basically said she wants to take out BMF, and the game plan goes whether or not he's part of it or not. She wants, Meech up out of here. She wants Terry up out of here so that she can win her respect by way of her daddy. So Detective Bryant lets her know he doesn't want anything to do with the family business. Her Pops is his people, cop buddies or whatever. So she says this whole game plan needs to go smoothly. But if not, the protection that she's giving Detective Bryant's son is going to be gone. So you see, he's the one making sure that he's keeping his son alive. Which lets me know, y'all, I have a theory. And my theory goes as follows. I feel like 50 Cent is on F them kids mode, okay? When it comes to all of these shows that 50 Cent has been helping with the orchestration of, kids have been offed. Okay, F them kids. All right, we knew it with Raina on Power. We seen it on, what's Power with Tommy called again? Book 4, Fierce. In the last season, what's the name of the little boy that, I don't remember his name, but the little boy that, he was teaching how to fight. All right, Diamond was teaching the little boy how to fight. And he ended up throwing a punch, and it was his first and last punch, okay? Who else? I feel like every little thing ends up with a child life in danger, okay? Some way, somehow. Oh, we did it again on Raising Kanan, book 3, with Kanan's homeboy having to get offed by his own mama, and his mama lying to him. F them kids. 50 Cent don't care about the kids, okay? So I just feel like, I won't be shocked if Detective Bryant's kid is, a dead man walking, which sucks, dead boy walking in this case. But it really sucks because, every show is going to have its sentimental losses. And in this case, I feel like it's going to be Detective Bryant, especially with what's going to come towards the end of this episode, where Detective Ryan is put in a situation where he can't fully be there for his son. So let's move along. So yeah, basically, Henrietta is basically warning that she can pull his protection. So now it's giving Kevin might get dropped off. But we're going to see within the next few episodes whether or not that's going to be the case. So we move over to Detective Jen and Detective Emberson. And apparently Cuts is going to hold it down. He's lawyer, wants his lawyer. He ain't saying nothing. So they can't do anything to him as of right now. So they end up getting some information about the ambulance, a tip with Detective Bryant where they found him. And apparently they ended up getting a partial VIN number to a guy named Lenny Edwards. So they're going to go question this guy later on in the episode, okay? So we're going to see how that goes in the next episode. So Meech ends up meeting with the pilot. And it's not 250 keys. It's 2,500 keys. So it's giving, instead of 250, it was 2,500, or however you say it. Listen, my Spanish a little rusty. Ain't no Hispanics in Atlanta. And he only has 24 hours to move all of this weight, which is not a lot of time at all. Okay? So we know they're going to end up taking a loss because they're going to have to cut the price in order to move all of this weight. But if that's what they got to do, So Meech calls Terry, letting him know, call all the people, gather the troops. We got to move this way as quickly as possible, okay? And we know Terry's not with it. We got stuff to do. TPS is looking. He doesn't know how he, can do that while trying to keep his son. It's not looking too good. Meech is like, look, it's do or die. This is why you got into this business. We got to get the job done regardless, okay? So they got a lot on their plate. And Meech goes outside. He sees a guy working with a white van. Meech ends up offering him a couple stacks to borrow the van, and he will bring it back, and the guy agrees. So Meech is moving pretty quickly, but we know Detective Bryant is still on the outskirts on his case, watching his every move, okay? Trying to see if he can catch him slipping. Now, we get to Nicole, and she's over at the house with Breezy Breeze, her boo, at the house playing video games, talking, laughing with some other friends there. Lucille sees boys with girls at the house, and she loses it. She knew she was going to have friends over the house, but not boyfriends over the house. Nicole is upset because she thinks that she thought everything was good, but Lucille was not having it at all, right? She was trying to see where the Charles was at because she was just like, what the hell? Why did you knew that, why is our daughter home without any sort of supervision, right? So Nicole is upset. She thought everything was good. Lucille was not having it, right? She kicked everybody out. She wanted to know where Charles was at, but we know he was still at work, right? Breeze walking out talking about, I'll teach you how to handle that joystick, a little better the next time. He was laying it on a little thick. So, we know Lucille was not having that, right? So, moving on, we get to Terry. The CPS lady comes over to the restaurant to have a conversation with Terry. She has to investigate to make sure that everything is good and kosher, and that Terry is a good fit as a father, and that he's taking care of things as a family. He did what he had to do. Thank God his guys was up in there, and they were able to play around and act like they were customers, but it ended up going the way that it was supposed to. Now, Meech pulls over so the pilot can use the restroom, right? So we see Detective Bryant lurking, and we see law enforcement are also at the diner that he went to use the bathroom at. They're staring at Meech, looking like they were about to go question him. So Meech is a little nervous. He's a little antsy, has a lot of weight in that van. So Detective Bryant thought he was in a perfect position to be able to get Meech. But little did he know that, the pilot was a little slicker than Meech even know. Because while he was in there, which looked like he was in there lollygagging, having a gay old time with the police officers, they end up coming out, the police officers, go to Detective Bryant, end up questioning him, saying that that pilot let us know that you up to something, you've been following them for miles. They end up pulling him out, has a gun. He doesn't have a badge because he got suspended. So now he's salty because he over here getting arrested while he thought he got the one up on Meech. Meech pulling off, laughing and smiling, looking like that 50 Cent meme. Got punked a little bit. All right. So we're going to see how it goes because Henrietta wanted everything to go off without a hitch. And now there's a big ass hitch in the middle of the circumstance. So we're going to see what happens with that. Honestly, more than likely she's going to end up pulling security, which means baby boy is going to have to get beat up again next episode. We're going to see how that goes on Friday. Okay. So your boy Raw Dog Charles, painting the house, fixing the, everything. Took him 10 plus years to get it done. They end up having a conversation, him and Lucille, about Breeze. He said Breeze is cool. He talked to him. Everything is good. Lucille is not feeling it. Charles brings up the doctor. Oh, wait, sorry. Before Charles brings up the doctor, he was like, oh, well, he's a fine young man. And, a fine young man at church. And she was like, you used to be a fine young man, too, back in the day. So, and look where we at now. So, yeah. So then from there, that's when the doctor gets brought up and that he saw the check. I know that you see you talking. He basically said that he saw the check. Remember at the ending of the last episode, we saw him pull the check out of the bag and he looked a little hurt by it, which is what's causing him to, try to make up in these areas as well. So Lucille snaps. She's just like, I know you ain't talking about me having secrets and me holding stuff. And he's like, I'm just trying to be honest. I'm not trying to argue. She tells him he's rotating shifts. That's why he's in town. He ended up being there and they ended up linking. He said he finds it funny that the doctor is there right when they're separated. So he feels like something is up. Lucille is like, you're barking at the wrong tree. You being ridiculous. You know, it ain't too deep. Charles has a point. Henrietta, she gets the news about what happens to Detective Bryant. She is pissed. Talking about, man, I knew I couldn't trust that messed up stank station wagon driving bald-headed snitching crazy police ho rat. So she wants revenge. Okay, she can't do nothing about BMF. He's the one that had the one up on them, so it's gonna have to be a pause on her plan and on her ploy. And it looks like she wants revenge based on how that scene ended. So she can't do anything to BMF because he's the one that had the one up on them. Detective Bryant had all of the information on that. So it looks like Detective Bryant is going to have a whole lot of bad things coming his way. Coming from Henrietta. And when it comes to the protecting of his son, and when it comes to, you know, how she's going to treat him despite how his father wants that situation. Her father, wants that situation to be handled. So we're going to see how that goes in this next upcoming episode. So now Meech pulls in the van, okay? It's giving Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. The mission is complete, all right? They trying to figure out how they're going to move all this weight, count all the money, get it down to Loco in Atlanta. They over here joking about Detective Bryant being arrested. I felt bad because of the son. But they were having a good old time, you know? Detective Bryant, he really did mess up when it comes to this episode, okay? He did entirely too much, all right? Following them and all. So now Detective Bryant, the Asian detective and Detective Emerson, forgot her name, goes to that man's house, question the man who bought the ambulance truck, okay? But as soon as they pop up to ask him the question, he says wrong address and tried to close the door to run. So we know that did not play out the way he wanted it to play out. So now that they getting arrested, they're going to dig and find out what really happened, which could lead back to Detective Bryant and, of course, Henrietta. And it's the last thing that they want. So if you think about it, if it ends up going back to him, that means Henrietta will have a one-up on Detective Bryant even further when it comes to the protection of his son. Okay? She'll also have the one-up when it comes to going to her father to give the I told you so. I knew what I was doing. Why did you have to bring in your thing? Like, I'm trying to, you know, be your successor, and you over here, you know, undermining my capability to be able to do this. You know, I already told y'all, I feel like she's a spoiled brat when it comes to the organization. And honestly, Detective Bryant actually put himself in a predicament in which he could, you know, jeopardize his son's situation. So prayers out to his son, because it's giving he's not going to make it to see the next season. In my Chris Tucker voice, he ain't going to be in Rush Hour 3. Okay? He's not. All right? So we going to see how this goes, and we going to see if he's actually going to snitch as far as the van goes. And if he don't snitch, then they ain't got nothing to worry about. So now we're going to pan over to Markeisha with the judge. This time, she goes and says, if you don't hear Terry out with CPS, I'm going to make sure that these drug dealing deals get out in the public while you trying to run for election. It's not going to look good for you. So he decides to help. Now, Meech and Terry are in the restaurant giving a head count for the money, giving a history lesson on why they hand count, teaching the guys in the organization to hand count because it's more accurate, and they believe that it makes the most sense. You know, at the end of the day, I don't even go to the ATM and leave the ATM without counting the money before I leave, okay? So it always makes sense because you never know, you know? So now Lucille, panning back, having conversation with the doctor. She pulls up to his place, his office. So she's trying to get some information for Nicole. Nicole is talking to boys now. She's just trying to make sure that she's safe at all costs, okay? So now Dr. Maurice is just like, you didn't ask Charles about this? Look at him eavesdropping. She said she wanted a professional opinion first. So it shows that she trusts him. And it seems like he you know, she wanted that professional touch, but then at the same token, you know, she wanted to see him. And then she made it a point to remind him that he's the only person out of their graduating class of high school that actually sought out to do a goal and actually accomplish it. Okay, everybody else, they failed. Now, Dr. Maurice ends up stating that as you get older, your goals change. You know, just because your goals are different doesn't mean you fail, you know. He was very humble. He wasn't cocky, you know. He wasn't trying to lay it on too thick or whatever the case may be. And he ain't struggling, but at the same token, he's still very humble. And the conversation, honestly, made her hot again, made her want her even more. And you know, he wants her too. So we pan out to Meech and Terry. They end up moving all that weight, and they end up going and giving the money over to the pilot, and he flies it out back to Atlanta. Okay, so Meech and Terry, they end up moving all that weight, but we know Terry was kind of upset. He's like, man, we moved more weight, but we made more money when we were moving less weight. But of course, they had to cut the price in half, and they had to hurry up and get this money within 24 hours. But Meech says, look, you got to see the bigger picture. Loco hired us because we move quickly, and basically it's going to lead to bigger and better things, greater opportunities down the line, okay? So Meech tells T, look, you should come on to Atlanta one of these days. And, you know, Terry wants to make sure that he gets the Terry CPS information and situation under control. But, you know, they going over to the family dinner. So now T ain't going to be able to kick it with Markeisha. He going to have to come to this dinner because everybody's going to be there, okay? So we get to Markeisha. She lets Terry know that everything is good with CPS. She handled the whole thing with the judge. They celebrate, and you already know how Markeisha celebrates, okay? So she listen, her coochie pink and her booty hole brown, all right? But we know she was kind of upset at first because she planned on having that night with him, but he got to go to the family dinner. So now Nicole has prepared everything. The whole family's back. Meech is in town. Everything's going good. The kids are there. The baby mamas are there. Lucille is happy because her family's all together. Lucille does the daughter does the prayer, and Meech compliments it, saying that she sounds grown. She's like, that's because I am, okay? So they were just joking around, but Nicole was dead ass serious. So she's trying to figure out why this family is so obsessed with her ever since her brothers moved out the house. So then she goes on to say that how mom is over having googly eyes when it comes to the doctor. Raw Dog Charles, his neck snapped when he said that. She was talking about Terry messing around with Markeisha. Meech got 2 kids with 2 different baby mamas. Both her brothers are drug dealers. Nicole put it on the table, okay? She did her big one, okay? Not a lie was told. And of course, Raw Dog Charles messing around with Sister Mabel, okay? So Lucille told her to go to her room. Go to your room, because she was upset that Nicole would do something like that in the first place. And you know, Meech, being big brother, goes upstairs to talk to his baby sister to make sure that everything was good, okay? So we know Nicole doesn't even want to have a boyfriend because of what happened to Darius, so she's kind of scared. And she's not liking how the family is treating her while she has a lot of pressure on her and a lot of decisions to make, all right? Meech tells her that everything's going to be okay, as far as what happened to Darius with the whole thing with Lamar, and he promises to be a better big brother. And he's telling her that everything is going to be okay, okay? We're going to see how that's going to parlay out. Nicole, she's grown now, okay? We're going to see how it goes. But honestly, I thought it was hilarious the way she pulled a Diana Tejada as far as making a beautiful dinner with her family, and then running down the line to do her big one. Remember when she did that before, and Mary J. Blige almost snapped her neck? Listen, mommy, you ruined the family. Because, you know, they kind of Hispanic, and she got a little Hispanic / New York flair to her. And Mary J. Blige ain't got a lick of Hispanic in her. And she's just like, get the F out my house. Listen, one thing about 50 Cent, he gonna make sure it's gonna be a daughter cooking, and he gonna make sure that daughter ruins a family gathering, okay? Now, your girl Lucille, she goes back to visit the doctor, and it's after hours. And this time, she's telling the truth on how she really feels about him and how she's separated with Charles, and that ever since he's come back in town, Everything feels just so right. Honestly, I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't expect her to say that. I thought she was going to say, that. Honestly, I thought she was going to say that everything needs to come to a halt so that she can fix her family. Something told me that she was going to be running back to Raw Dog Charles. But now it's at a point in time where I'm realizing she don't want that man no more. Lucille is Lucilleing, okay? So the two start making out. It's getting hot. She dropped her purse, clench him close. Lucille pushes away. She's like, nah, too fast. He was all up on the wall. He said, whenever you're ready, I'm here for you. You know this is not over yet, okay? In this circumstance, she wanted him. He wanted her. They looked like they was about to do. It was giving one of those scenes where he was about to just knock everything off the counter, and it was just going to happen right then and there. And a part of me felt like that's what it was about to be. Because one thing about 50 Cent is going to be some sex scenes, okay? Like, I thought the coochie was about to be pink and the booty hole was about to be brown, okay? But he got a little lip action, which is still an adulteress. I'm mad at her, but we're going to move on. All right, so now Lucille brings her hiney, her adultering self, her big one self, her revenge-seeking on Raw Dog Charles self back to the house. And before she heads for the stairs, she breathing all hard, staring at her family, looking like she just got caught. They looking at her like, I'm just happy that my family's all here under one roof. Because remember, her kids was on the couch. They was playing video games, Nintendo or whatever was out during that time. And, she was just happy. Got all my babies. So we hear Nicole talk about, we ain't babies no more. She must have forgot, Now Lucille goes upstairs. Raw Dog Charles looking like he just left the boxing ring. Talking about, where'd you go? She said she wanted some French air. He asked if she felt better. She said yes and no. Charles knows what he's doing. Went into that bathroom, did some push-ups, rubbed baby oil on himself. He know what he doing. All right? Came out just when he knew Lucille was coming up them stairs, okay? Walked up to that little pull-up bar, He's laying it on her thick, okay? And she looked like she might be breaking down. I don't know. Let me know in the comments whether or not you think that the doctor is going to win or Charles is going to win. Are you team doctor or are you team Raw Dog? Which one are you for? Are you with Dr. Dreamboat or are you with Raw Dog Charles? Are you team side piece or are you team husband? Are you team adulteress or are you team let me stay with my man? Let me know in the comments how you feel about that. So now we turn into Roland, who comes over to the house and he lets Meech and Terry know that he thinks he's going to have to step away from the game, okay? He is a kid now. Things have changed. They tell him, don't worry about him. He's going to be family forever. He lives right across the street. He lives down the street. If we ever need you, we will let you know. They start laughing. He tells them that he's always going to be looking over their family. You already know what the vibe is. He's a part of the real story. He was actually in the BMF documentary. And everything that he said matches up actually with the show goes. So I don't know if this is going to be the last time we see Roland, but based off the way that it's going, I would not be surprised, okay? So now Meech has a conversation with Stax. And Stax says, look, I'm sorry how I was acting down in Atlanta. And he wants to basically get back good with Meech. All right? He wants to do business once again with Meech. And Meech tells him, okay, I'm going to go back to Atlanta very soon. My brother Terry is coming. And he said he's going to come down. All right? And we know we cannot trust Stax. 2 Chainz just looks funny to me. Now, we know this plans out to be true. Because Stax is in the car with Glock. Telling them, look, Meech is coming back. Little brother Terry is coming with them. I'll help you get Meech up out of here along with his brother. And we know Glock is telling him, I will help you get a Remy. So it seems like they have a deal going on. And if everything goes as planned, Glock and Stacks will be doing business later down the line. But you already know, Glock does not trust Stacks. Listen, one thing about Haitians, if they start speaking, and one thing about any culture, if they start speaking their language around you, ladies, if you've ever gotten your nails done, you know them Koreans will start yapping the second that you come around. Ladies, learn Korean. Stacks, learn Creole. Because the second that they said the wak konjaj, they are not feeling him whatsoever. They literally were like talking slick about him. And then this man talking about some, he was complimenting your driving. No! What be tease? Translation, you talking smack. Okay? So, you already know he's trying to eliminate everybody, Glock. And then you know he's probably going to let Stacks out the picture. He talks entirely too much. Like, he was talking too much when it came to Meech. He's talking too much when it comes to this situation. Honestly, I told you so. I told y'all 2 Chainz's character was not to be trusted. Okay? So, honestly, I feel like within the next 2 episodes, 2 Chainz's episode will get the axe. Depending on how quickly Glock can get to Meech or not get to Meech, whatever, it depends on how it's going to play out as far as, you know, the war that's about to take place in the city of Atlanta. Either or, I feel like 2 Chainz's character is going to get cut loose. We appreciate your services, 2 Chainz. Exit stage left. All right. So we know Glock's right-hand man was in the back seat. You already know what time it is. All right. But the episode ends out with Meech, Terry, Nicole, and the family. They're all together, having a good time. And we know in this next episode, it's about to be crazy. So in the episode 5 trailer, it looks like a war is really about to pop off based on the accent that is in the trailer. Okay? I cannot wait. Type in the comments. Let me know what you are expecting. And I want to thank y'all so much for all of the love and the support that y'all have been giving when it comes to these breakdowns. Because at the end of the day, I feel like, you know, when it comes to the BMF universe, when it comes to the Power universe, we can't just watch these episodes and go on with our day. We got to sit. We got to discuss. We got to figure out, you know, how we feel on the wins and the whys in the house. So let's go into the key points when it came to the last episode, shall we? So we know that Raw Dog Charles is in competition with the doctor. Type in the comments whether or not you are Team Doctor or Team Charles, okay? Now, we also know that 2 Chainz is now the op. I told you so. Let me know how long y'all think 2 Chainz's character is going to go in this situation. I mean, a part of me feels like he's going to get caught in the crossfire of this battle. But then a part of me feels like he's just going to die on the back end because he really has no reason to be a part of the war unless he's faking like he's good with, you know, Meech to a point in time where he, you know, ends up being there and then getting caught in the crossfire. I don't know. We're going to see how it's going to play out when it comes to that storyline. We already know the daughter is now dating. Well, at least thinking about dating, but she still has, you know, her ex in mind. I feel like, you know, with Meech's advice, she's going to end up moving on and doing her thing as far as that. Y'all, Neo is still an important character. Okay? Let's not forget. All right, Meech was clapping homegirl's cheeks, okay, before he went back to Detroit. So we already know that Neo's character is going to have to seek revenge because towards the ending of episode 3, all right, they pulled the pimp. The pimp hand was not strong, and he has to seek revenge. So let me know in what way you feel like Neo is going to play a part when it comes to the war, maybe when it comes to the dealings with Meech and his money, maybe when it comes to, you know, the Haitians, because remember it was the Haitians that gave him the tie in the first place when it came to the event in Atlanta. Let me know how you feel that part is going to break down, okay? What else happened? when it comes to Markeisha, aka Lala, let me know how you feel like that is going to play out. Because right now, Terry is trying to play house. Terry is trying to have his cake and eat it too. Let me know if you feel like how you feel that's gonna work out as far as Terry's situation. Let me know how you feel about Detective Bryant. Let me know. I have a couple theories. Like I said before, I feel like his son is not gonna make it to the end of the series. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know why. And also, let me know how you feel like Henrietta is going to end up taking advantage of Raw Dog Charles not being in the picture when it comes to her father. So I feel like she's going to, try to use that as leverage to getting her father to give her more reign over the family business or whatever the case may be. And I also feel like the other detective might, honestly, now that I think about it, she might come to the rescue when it comes to his son. She might come to the rescue when it comes to his son, only because they both have information on each other when it comes to Detective Bryant and her. Remember, they both had, a little bit of crookedness when it came to their circumstance. Hers, not by choice, honestly, because Detective Bryant dragged her into some circumstance. But a part of me feels like maybe I am wrong. Maybe his son will get saved by the detective. Maybe she might be able to get him better coverage when it comes to that. Or the flip side, she snitches on his ass. I don't know. We're going to see how that part plays out. There is so many moving pieces when it comes to this BMF universe. We already know based on the past episode with the event in Atlanta that Meech is going to end up spreading out. And I believe there's going to be episodes with him in Miami and maybe an episode with him in St. Louis as well. So it's just a matter of time before we match up the timeline of the real story of Meech to what is happening, between, the fictional circumstances that they're adding in between. I'm not sure whether or not we're going to end up seeing Lil Baby's character again. And also, we know Saweetie is supposed to be making an entrance into the BMF universe as well. It looked like from the previews of the season that Saweetie is supposed to be playing, some sort of love interest, I guess. Maybe she's his Meech's St. Louis sweetheart. I don't know. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, but if you got a little intel on that or you have your own circumstance that you think, please let me know. But I think when it comes to, the circumstance with them getting the money to Loco as quickly as they did, Meech definitely played his cards correctly. And them being able to flip and, flop that circumstance definitely put him in a good circumstance when it comes to them destroying. And I think that they're setting up themselves perfectly to take over, the game. All right. Now, the question is, how is Henrietta going to, be a part of that circumstance? What is she going to do as far as her revenge? Is she about to be a part of this war? Is she going to team up with the Haitians? Or is it going to be two different wars about two different beefs, both revolving on moves made by Meech and Terry? Because remember, Henrietta's beef is with Terry, and Glock's beef is with Meech. So we gonna see how that circumstance is going to play out. Honestly, I cannot wait for Friday. I cannot wait to see how everything's going to play out. And like I said before, please, please, please write in the comments your theories. Write in the comments which direction do you see this going in. Write in the comments who you think is going to get off. Write in the comments how long you think Detective Bryant is going to be in jail. Write in the comments everything that you think when it comes to BMF Season 3, Episode 4. Honestly, truly, we're going to see how this goes. So, y'all, as far as my look goes, I literally just splashed a bunch of circumstances across my face. I have on blue, so I went with the blue look, a little blue under eye. I think it's gonna match together once I put these lashes on. Lashes link in bio, Amazon storefront. Get into it. So we're gonna go with the light and wispy tonight. Honestly, truly, I said what I said when it came to 50 Cent off in children. So we're gonna see how this goes when it comes to Detective Bryant's son. For real. We're gonna see how it goes. Because at the end of the day, I definitely think that it's gonna be a situation that's not going to be appealing to the well-being of Detective Bryant's son. We already know he's small. We already know Detective Bryant is not in a position to be able to help him any longer, especially now that he's on the bad side of Henrietta. I don't know. We're going to see how this goes. We love to see it. Hold on, let me fix this lash. We're where we need to be, people. Talk to me nice. All right, I'm going to do a light powder, and then we out of town, thugging with our rounds. Should I put on blush? Y'all, I've been blushing it up lately. I have been blushing it up lately. We're going to go a little light. Powder type shit. Okay. I'm here for it. We're going to do a little powder blush. Nothing crazy. Let's go over to the Profusion palette. A little light pink. Dab a little rose in there. When I tell you, I'm not a professional, y'all. So all of the ladies in the place with style and grace, the MUAs, don't come for me. I'm not sending for you. I'm just splashing a little of this and a little of that, okay? Just a tad on the nose. A little bit across the brim. And we outside. Y'all, I appreciate y'all for keeping me company during this light beat but heavy slay, okay? And yeah, if you're trying to catch me, y'all, live, make sure that you download POF, make sure that you download PLK, make sure that you download Meet Me, and catch me on these live streets, okay? You already know what the vibe is. You already know where to find me at. You already know to catch me on YouTube each and every week with these BMF updates. So make sure that you hit that like button on this video if you love the content. Make sure that you leave a comment, with all of the commentary that you have based on anything that I said, based on anything that I missed, and based on what you think is up to come in the upcoming episodes. And of course, make sure, if you haven't done so already, to go ahead and subscribe. Until next time, y'all, thank you for catching up with BMF with PYT, respectfully.